What is good, rookies? Welcome back to another video. And if you are new, this is a little different format here because if you guys do not know, of course I do lifestyle vlogs here on YouTube since 2015. But back in 2021 on TikTok, I started a Sports for the Girls series where I teach sports to girls so that way they're able to understand and follow a game. And I thought, what better way than to bring it to YouTube? Why haven't I done it? I upload clips on shorts, but I've never actually sat down and just talked sports, talked football with you guys, which I love to do. So I thought this would be a good time this year for me just to bring that to you guys, because that way I can talk longer and give you guys longer explanations, and I can blab all day, yap all day when it comes to football, when it comes to sports. So I'm really excited to be able to add this new kind of segment to my channel here on YouTube and give you guys just more insight. Like I said, I've been doing this since 2021. I've become an NFL partner, had a partnership with them last season for their new campaign. I've already worked with the MLB when I was in college as a journalist. I've worked with the MLB also as a content creator, covering the MLB All-Star Week and also covering the draft this year. I've worked with a lot of companies when it comes to my sports content. I just never have brought it over to YouTube before. So unless you've seen like my vlogs, you wouldn't really know like, oh, what I kind of do when it comes to work. I do want to say, it's a little disclaimer, I did go to school. I studied sports broadcasting. That was my major in college. So this is just everything I love. Everything I love to talk about, and I love to share my knowledge with everyone else. So let's get into it. Today we're going to go over breaking down the NFL. It can seem, football in general can seem very complicated, and sometimes some people honestly just sadly are not good at explaining things at all. But I'm great at explaining things. That is one of my superpowers, a gift the Lord gave me. And that's what I'm here to do. So that way you'll be able just to sit. You may not love sports, you may not care about sports, but I want to be able to teach you enough so that way you're able just to know what people are talking about. When you're out at the bar, when you're at brunch, when you're at someone's house and everyone's hollering, you can look at the TV like, oh, I know what they're talking about, girl, and go back to scrolling on your phone. Get back on Pinterest. You do not have to be someone who loves sports, but I want you to at least have an idea of what's happening. So that way you at least feel informed, especially if you have a loved one, a man, a dad, a brother, or your family as a whole who love sports and you're just like, I don't know where to begin. I got you. Welcome to Sports for the Girls. My name's Kennedy. Let's get into it. The easiest way to understand how the NFL works, the importance of the NFL and everything, is for you to completely understand what is the point of an NFL season. What are they striving for? That is a formula we're going to use to help you understand what's happening. Starting out first, there are 32 teams in the NFL. Oh, I forgot to mention, because if you're new here and you're not from TikTok, do you know, I almost said you have 30 minutes. Oh my God. I love graphics. I love visuals. I'm a visual learner. So I will have graphics here. I also will link the graphics. I always post them on TikTok for the girls to save to their phone. I will link the videos that have the graphics of the ones I'm talking about right now in the description, so you're able to save those photos to your phone and just have them as references. So what is every NFL team's end goal? What is every franchise trying to do? Every year you want to make it to the playoffs in hopes of making it to the Super Bowl and having a chance to win a Super Bowl. That is every team's goal. And it sounds simple. It's not. And that's probably why a lot of people are having a fit. So there are 32 teams in the NFL, and they are divided into two conferences. You have your AFC and you have your NFC. Now, when you take a look at the conferences here, go ahead, find your team. I'm always going to use the Kansas City Chiefs as an example because that's where I'm from, Kansas City, Missouri. Okay. Missouri, not Kansas. Like, we don't want to get into that today. And when you find your team's logo, that is a conference that you were a part of. So if anyone ever asks you like, oh, what conference? Anyone's talking about AFC, I'm listening because that's my team's conference. If they're talking NFC, I'll still listen from like a work viewpoint, but as like a fan, NFC really doesn't matter to me per se, but AFC matters because that is a conference that my team, the Kansas City Chiefs, are a part of. Now, remember I told you that every team's goal is to make it to the playoffs to get a chance to make it to the Super Bowl. Also, disclaimer, I do have a puppy who does not understand or respect my work that I do. So if you hear a little bit of whining in the background, I apologize. I'm using my podcast mic. Hopefully it will drown a lot of it out, but I'm sorry. He just got up from a nap. Okay, I should have did it when he was asleep. So like I said, everyone's competing to have a chance to make it to the playoffs. Every team does not get to go to the playoffs. Only 7 teams in each conference make it to the playoffs. So again, I'm the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm looking at the AFC. We are one of 16 teams. Only 7 of us out of these 16 are this thing called divisions. So inside every conference, there are 4 divisions. So every team is put inside a group. It's like you remember in elementary school, like you're all in a class and then like they'd have desk of like 4 and desk of 5. It's like that. Okay, the AFC is all in a class together, and then they split them all up and put them into 4 groups, and they're all titled by the direction. So AFC North, East, South, and West. Same with the NFC, you have the NFC North, East, South, and West. So when it comes to, we'll get into your whole rivalry and who you don't like, but okay, when it comes to who teams 9 times out of 10 don't like, it has everything to do with that team is either 1, inside their conference, or 2, they're definitely inside their division and they have some beef, some rivalry. We don't like that other team because they've done something to us in the past. Kennedy, why would we not like teams in our conference or in our division? Because one of these teams could knock me out of the playoffs. We're all competing. We're all competing for one of those 1 of 7 spots. There's 2 ways that you can make it to the playoffs. Number 1, win your division. So if you've won the most games out of all the teams in your division, again, I am a Kansas City Chief, okay? And they've actually done this several years in a row. So if you look at the chart, everyone that's in my conference is the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Denver Broncos, okay? I want to have more wins. I want to win more games than all the rest of those teams, because if I win more games than them, guess what happens? I win my division and I automatically get to go on to the playoffs. So that's 4 teams in each conference. There's still 3 spots left. The way you get those next 3 spots is then you have to have the next best record out of everybody else. So you have 4 teams that win a division, they move on. You look at all the teams that are left, who has the next best, what 3 teams have the next best record out of everyone else that's left? That's how you get your 7 teams, and then that's how you go on to the playoffs. And again, we'll talk about playoffs in a separate video in a more detailed level, but this is kind of to explain to you how the NFL is divided up and then its importance. We start out with 32 teams. Everyone gets split off into 2 groups. So you have the AFC and the NFC. You're competing with these teams. All these teams are your rivals, and you're competing with these teams in order to be able to make it to the playoffs, because only 7 of you are going to make it. And then they also divide you up a little bit more into divisions. So then there's 4, okay? And then you're competing with them to be what is called the divisional winner. You want to win your division. You want to win the most games out of all the other 3 teams in your division, so that you can go into the playoffs. So that's pretty much the breakdown of the NFL in like a very like actual way, if that makes sense. On TikTok, I did a explaining the plastics of the NFL video. It's like my favorite little thing. We all love Mean Girls, okay? I even have a burn book that I always do, so we got some of that going. I have a lot of different themes I want to bring over to you guys, and I'll be able to explain to you a little bit more, so that way you'll be able to be up to date, have an idea of what's going on, and just understand simply the processes and everything. I hope this made sense. I hope I was able to break it down for you. Be sure to come back weekly. That way I can give you guys more insight on keeping you up to date. I want to be like your news outlet, let you know what's happening in the world of sports. It's football season. It's a lot that goes on. Football can be difficult. I have a lot to cover here, so I'm excited. Be sure to follow me on TikTok, because I post there like all the time. That's my like number 1, even though this is my OG platform since 2015. My sports content and everything really took off on TikTok. So make sure you're following there for updates. Follow the podcast for updates as well, which is KC Locker Room Talk. I'm so excited. We need to come up with a name for my series and everything in general. Originally, I came up with sports for the girls, but it just wasn't legit. I love Pretty Girls Love Sports, because everyone's like hot girl this, hot girl that. I'm like, I'm not a hot girl, I'm a pretty girl. So I don't know. We'll come up with something. Thank you guys for sticking along. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.